So, after giving the matter some thought, I have decided that while a ghost story themed live chat might be interesting, it would be kind of tricky because I would have to tell the stories while looking in the comments section, and one will always distract the other. So, I am going to share my ghost stories with you, just not in that live chat. The Halloween live chat will have something else going on it. So, kitties, I'm going to share with you the first of my special Halloween ghost stories. But before I do, remember, like, subscribe, and be sure to forward. Now, before I begin, let me also say that all stories are true to me. That means I cannot swear to their accuracy, but the people who told them to me swore they were true. I'm also going to change the names of some of the people to respect their anonymity. This first one goes back to when I was a kid. Gotta be getting a lot closer to 50 years than I like to admit. My mother had this friend who was very, very interested in, shall we say, the paranormal, and she told the story from years before that has stayed with me ever since. This very, very nice woman, we'll call her Edna, grew up in a family that had a father and son carpentry business. And she had this younger brother named Sully, who had died very tragically in an accident. Now, one night she has this dream. In this dream, she had already grown up and moved on her own at this stage, but she had gone home to visit her family, and while they're chatting, one of her sisters says to her, "Do you want to go upstairs and see Sully?" And she's like, "Okay, sure." In the context of the dream, rather than having Sully buried in a cemetery, he was actually in a, I guess you'd call it a crypt in the attic. And they go into the attic, and it's a casket surrounded by a bed frame with candles all around. And while they're going to light a candle for him, the lid of the casket pops open, and Sally sits up. And they're like, "Oh dear." And Sally looks at his sister and says to Edna, "Hey, where's my dollar?" And oddly enough, without thinking, Edna says, "What are you talking about? Where's your dollar? It's right there in your pocket." He reaches into the lapel of his jacket and pulls out a dollar bill and says, "Oh, thanks." And then all of a sudden it dawns on them that their brother is alive, and they run downstairs to get the mother. Their mother, sadly, had also passed on by this stage in reality, not the context of the dream. They run down, get the mother, they bring the mother upstairs, and as the mother walks to the casket, there's this blinding light, and Enda wakes up a little freaked out because it was kind of an odd dream. So she makes it a point of going to visit her brother and sister in law so that she can share this experience. And she's telling her sister in law, and when she's done with the story, she notes the sister just the color drains out of her face. And then is like, "Okay, what the heck is going on? You're starting to freak me out here." And she goes, let me get your brother. She calls her husband into the room. "Sit down. Edna, tell him what you just told me." She repeats the story, and her brother begins sobbing. She's like, "Okay, what the heck is going on here?" "Well, you remember how I said it was a father and son's business? Well, apparently the two of her brothers were sort of rivals with their carpentry abilities, and the two brothers had placed a wager who could complete a bed frame faster. Sully had won the bet of $1. The surviving brother had never paid this debt, so at the wake, when they were viewing the casket, her brother had taken a dollar bill out of his pocket and slid it into the lapel. Never told a soul except for his wife. Wow. And that's story number one of Thrash Pondo's House of Ghost Stories. Also, you're probably wondering where the epic reminder is going to come in. Well, we're here now. Let me tell you, there's some really, really cool things coming down the pike for Thrash Pondo. This Thursday, specifically at 9 p.m. Thrash Pondo's time, I'm going to be joining that fat samurai guy for a versus of Mario Bama's epic Barbara Steele horror film Black Sabbath versus Suspiria by Dario Argento from 1977. Folks, that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, next Thursday, October 20th, I'm going to be joining Barry from BK on the Air, and we're going to be having a Retro Memories Symposium. And I'll be joining also Dave Sundstrom and Pat McCormick, and we're going to be talking about big breakthrough moments in nostalgia. That one should be gangs of fun. I can't wait for that one as well. And that coming Sunday, October 23rd, I'm going to be joining that unapologetic geek, the unapologetic geek, for his public domain theater. And we're going to be having a watch along for quite possibly my favorite sci fi horror film of all time, Night of the Living Dead. We're going to have humor, we're going to have fun facts. There's going to be other surprise guests. A surprise guest in the sense that I don't know who they are at this point, but that is going to be gangs of fun. Now, you're probably also saying, hey, whoa, Thrash. If you're joining that fat samurai guy at 9 on Thursday, what about your watch parties? And your after parties? And your fellowship parties? Not to worry, worry. I'm going to do something just a little bit different this week. I'm going to have it a little bit earlier instead of later, a little bit earlier. I'm probably going to come in, call it a little before 7:30. Even call it 7:15 and change. Somewhere around that time, I'm going to be doing a live chat. I'm probably going to have to scoot sometime before 9 so we can do sound checks and test links and whatnot. But I will be having a live chat this Thursday, October 13th, sometime in the 7 o'clock hour, my time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Now, that's all I have for you at this time. So as always, be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.